Ha 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 ha. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like 1 month no upload, none too crazy. Some light, some light. That's how you feel, bro. Okay. Okay, so we're back in 2025. I'm gonna get right to the stuff. I know you're hungry. I am officially working on The Walking Dead Season 3. I was gonna pump out a few 20 to 30 minute videos just to get back into it, but it has been 4 months since Season 2, and some of you are starting to crash out in the comments. Every day, bro, it's Season 3, Season 3, Season 3, leave me alone. So I'll see you in the next video for that one. And I know this is not an infamous video. I failed you, bro. Like, something is just wrong with my infamous script. For some reason, no matter how many times I re-record it, it just does not sound right, bro. Like, it's giving me a headache and my patience is at an all-time low. I'm just gonna rewrite that entire script from the bottom up. I don't care no more. I'm sorry for the wait on it, but I need that video to be good, bro. I love Infamous. So today I figured I'd cover something out of the blue. While I was gone, I played a lot of games that I told myself that I would get to for years. Something I just started is Metal Gear Revengeance. I can't believe I've never played this game before, but at one point I played the original Resident Evil 2, which led me down a rabbit hole of Resident Evil games. And I was like, damn, I gotta cover one of these. And I was stuck between Resident Evil 7 and RE3 Remake because they're really two sides of the same coin. One was a big step forward for the series, and the other was like getting thrown into ongoing traffic. Long story short, this game sucks. It's fun though, don't get me wrong. I chose this one because it's wacky as hell. There is always something going on. But as a game, as a remake, it is a tragedy if I've ever seen one. And I've never even played the original. I can't imagine the hell people who've played the original went through. For reference, the game that came out before this was a remake and it was considered one of the best remakes of all time. And then this one comes out a year later, I think. And it's not scary. The characters barely get any development. The main villain is a pushover for 80% of the game, and overall the game is short as hell. I'm talking like 2 to 3 hours. I spent about $10 to $15 on this game and I still felt ripped off to a degree. If I would have paid full price, I would have lost my marbles. This game is the definition of wasted potential. So let's see what they had cooking up in there. The game opens with our main character Jill in her apartment. Jill being one of the 2 main characters in the first game, but she's up and it's raining heavily outside. And the very first action of the game has us doing something strange. We get up, right, and go to the bathroom to turn off the faucet. So let me get this straight. She went into the bathroom, turned on the faucet, and then went to bed, and she left the window open. Alright, bro. I'm gonna let her rock. So Jill looks in the mirror and she starts tweaking out, right? She's turning into a zombie and everything. But wait, this whole thing was a dream segment, but not just any old dream. It's supposed to show Jill's PTSD and fears after the events of the first game. Basically, she's part of this team of specially trained people called STARS, aka Special Tactics and Rescue Services. In RE1, she and some members of the team were sent to a house in the middle of nowhere to investigate some kidnapped people. And let me tell you, that mission went terribly wrong, brother. They're in a helicopter, and the second they touch down, zombie dogs start chasing them one by one. Jill and her team run to this mansion, but they're like, oh my gosh, wait, where's Chris? So they're like, okay, we gotta find Chris. Uh-oh, Wesker's missing now, which only leaves Jill and one other guy, right? But because the game is a single-player horror game, she's gonna be left alone eventually, so it's really just her by herself in this house with zombies, a giant shark, whatever the hell this is. It was hell. And when she and the surviving members got back, no one believed them because the evil corporation who made zombies was plotting in the background. So yeah, this should be happening. But does this plotline go anywhere? Do we delve any deeper into Jill's psyche? No. The game actually begins when Jill wakes up again, this time with color. She says the dreams get worse every night, but it's fine since she's leaving town, aka Raccoon City, in 3 days. And she's just been up working trying to figure out a way to take down Umbrella, the evil zombie company. And she's got it all going right now, bro. The detective wall, messy room, hordes of food. She ain't living right. Not at all. The craziest part though, the faucet in the bathroom is actually running. It wasn't a dream, this is real. What kind of psychopath turns on the faucets and leaves to take a whole nap? So I go turn it off again, bro, and I'm just wondering like, what is wrong with it? Whoa. As we leave the bathroom, the game switches to third person. If you want a first person Resident Evil video, I did record RE7, so like, comment, and share and all. So Jill's phone starts ringing and I go answer that.
Hello?
Jill, are you okay?
Brad, is that you?
Listen, you gotta get out of there.
What are you talking about?
I don't have time to explain. You gotta get out of there right now.
All right, let me grab my...
She's dead right there. There's no way. There's no way. There's literally no way. Look at this gargantuan lumberjack boot going right into her ribs. Then she hits the wall. Stop. Look at how long it takes her to recover from that. So this is Nemesis, literally Jill's biggest hater, her #1 op. He grabs her and she messes up the fit. Nemesis doesn't like that. He's one of those all-black opium demons. So he slams her to the ground. And I gotta ask, what are her bones made out of? Vibranium? She just dodges the next stomp and haymaker from Nemesis and bolts out the front door. Closes it like that's gonna do anything. Well, it does, because bro doesn't leave the room until you go down the hall.
Hey, yo, the pizza here.
Jill runs in a vacant room and throws a bookshelf down, like that's gonna have any effect. But again, it does, because we're good enough to hop out a window, go down a fire escape to a lower level of the building. We should be good. Okay, I'm gonna explain Nemesis now. Way back in the old days, the black and white days, the original Resident Evil 2 developers wanted to implement a version of the final boss from RE1 that would follow you around and appear when you least expected it. The monster they ended up with was a weaker version of the RE1 monster tyrant thing, and they named it Mr. X. Now the problem was the technology kinda wasn't there, and I think the bigger issue was that they didn't know how to do it just yet the way they wanted to do it. So in the original RE2, Mr. X was a pushover for the whole game. I just finished this game, right? I just did it. And every time you run into him, all you have to do is run past him, go through a door, and that's it. He's gone. But in Resident Evil 3, they took all the experience they had with Mr. X and put it all into Nemesis, a tyrant injected with cybernetics and a parasite that makes it capable of improvising, adapting, and overcoming. But besides having a conscience, Nemesis can do a heap of things that the original tyrant can't, like running, jumping, tentacles that can both smack and grab. He can also use them to swing through the city like Spider-Man, and he can use weapons. And in the original, they let him chase you up and down the city a lot. I don't know how much because I haven't played the original. I really wanted to before making this video just to compare, but this is one of those times where you don't even have to play the original to know it's better than the remake, bro. This game was so bad, so lackluster, so deprived of content that it was being called DLC for the Resident Evil 2 remake. But we'll get to it. Jill moves through this building that's now on fire. The air and the smoke pressure build up so much that it launches her through the escape door and onto the railing. But you would think that all we gotta do now is go down the fire escape and go through these alleyways. No, this fiend, Nemesis, currently as I'm talking, is breaking through the floor and posting up near a wall so he can do this. Bro is aura farming mid-battle. Wesker did not die for this. Nemesis then goes for the finishing blow, but Jill dodges, and they both go through the floor instead. Now, you would think that he would run up to Jill, grab her, maybe use a tentacle again.
No.
He opts to grab some of the falling concrete from the wall and chase Jill down with it. And finally, we're good. I don't know where he went, gang. The plot is just plotting right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch Jill's outfit to her classic one. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest fan of Jill's outfit, the original one, but hear me out. We are fighting zombies, big zombies. The strapless top is diabolical, brother. But what I do like about this outfit is that it's unique. A lot of people were upset about the outfit change in the remake, because look at this, bro. They literally put her in the Tomb Raider fit. It looks like they wanted to change her fit, but they didn't know what to replace it with, so they pulled out Old Reliable. It's kind of like the high top dread thing, you know, like, oh man, we want to change the dreads, but like, what do we do? And then somebody comes up and they're like, oh, I know what we could do. The new outfit isn't bad, it just doesn't justify the change to me. But my biggest problem with the change is that to get Jill's original costume, you have to pay extra for it. But usually for past outfits or variations of what you already have, you can unlock just by playing the game. So having to pay for like the one thing that you might want to replay the game with and unlock was a really odd choice. But then after this game's release, it never got that much for DLC, which I think is the reason why this outfit was being sold separately, because They had nothing else planned. Resident Evil 7, 8, 2, and 4 Remake, all games that came out around this game, are packed to the brim with extra content. Really good stuff too. Hell, sometimes they had so much that they would give it away for free, or do things that nobody asked for, but low-key we needed that. Like the third-person mode in RE8. It is janky, but I really appreciate it because sometimes I don't want to play in first person. So the fact that 3 got next to nothing really feels like they made this game, did the bare minimum, and then cut out some of that content at the last second because they realized, oh no, we need a pre-order bonus or something. But let's keep going. Jill wasn't the only one getting hunted down. We meet Brad, the guy on the phone, and the pilot of the helicopter in RE1. He's like, damn, Jill, we gotta get out the city. That thing is after STARS members, and we're the last ones in town. So Jill is like, bet, we gotta go. So naturally, we start walking through the city as police chatter, screams, and people scrambling around until Brad spots a chopper and skedaddles to it. But it's a helicopter. It flew over us, and we're left with a wall of zombies. And obviously that starts to tumble because the main characters have been detected, and Jill just sits there and waits for the zombies to get up and run before I'm allowed to move. I get to the door with Brad, side-eyeing Jill the entire time, and Brad takes a sign and that did absolutely nothing. Now we're inside, struggling to hold the door, and I don't know why they don't run through the back door. Oh wait, I do, because they need Brad to get bit. I don't know that much about the original, but I have seen that scene where Brad gets impaled by Nemesis. Why change that? Why have him get taken out by a level 1 zombie when Nemesis is right there? Nemesis is one of, if not the most famous enemy in Resident Evil history, and this is the only game he's in, bro. Like, this is it. One and done. They should be spamming him.
We're gonna make a run for it!
Come on, Jill. We know how this ends.
No, I don't.
I'm sorry, I was unfamiliar with Jill's game. Does she have a cure? Brother, she knows good and well how zombies work. Until 5 minutes ago, she was one of the few people that even knew they existed. Brad is the audience though. He looks at her like this. And yeah, there's a whole back door that leads to the city streets. None of this had to happen. We find a weapon. Again, I'm gonna be using one of these infinite ammo guns though. Oh, shut up. This game isn't too hard. They drown you with ammo and heals. And if you're familiar with how Resident Evil games play, you'll be fine. Now I could bump up the difficulty. No. So we make our way through the city, and that chopper from earlier sees Jill and tells her to get up and go to the top of a nearby parking garage for extraction. On the way there, we find this guy called Dario. We tell him that there's a chopper nearby, and he's like, nah, it's safe in this container, and no girls allowed. Okay, I make it to the parking lot and take the elevator all the way to the tippity top, and the chopper is there, but it's parked far as hell, ain't it? Goodness, what is this, a fitness test to see if I'm worthy of saving? And this is where we really have to get into Nemesis's behavior. How long do you think he was waiting there in that spot for Jill? Notice how he didn't pop out right after taking the chopper down. He waited until Jill made direct eye contact with him so she could see him walk out of the shadows and into the one light in that area. Yes, bro, we see the fit. It's just trash bags. Relax. I don't know what's got into him, but Jill is seeing all the aura and doesn't care. She rips a guy out of a car, a dead guy, gets in and proceeds to test the engine, and Nemesis is taking his time. He's aura maxing on the job. Nemesis in this game gets so many opportunities to get Jill to Heaven's Gates, but he fumbles every time without fail. But my eyes have been opened. I have a new theory, a game theory. I think he's just doing it for the love of the game. Cause think about it, without Jill, what's next for him? Brother, his job is over. I think he's just vibing. Like I'm trying to tell you, there is a method to the madness. So Jill rams him with the car and he's got her by the neck. He could just squeeze a little bit harder and be done, but
I love the game. I love the hustle, man.
Jill drives the car off the lot and we get to falling and crashing, and she is still unharmed. And look at this. Bro doesn't even begin to get up until Jill is looking at him. It gets worse. As Jill crawls out of the car, as if on cue, it blows up and Nemesis is walking through the fire. Just take it, bro. Damn. But I'm taking it right back because out of nowhere someone screams,
Get a load of this!
and shoots a rocket. He caught it. The second one hits, but it's already solidified. I can't do anything about it. I know that Nemesis allowed that shot to hit him just so Jill can get away and continue with the chase. The man introduces himself as Carlos and carries Jill away. As we leave, the camera pans to Nemesis, who is still looks maxing, farming, whatever you want to call it. Tell me, who gets hit with a missile and falls on their knees? Brother, he's doing it on purpose. He's posing for the camera. If nothing else has convinced you, this has to do it. We get to a subway station and the gate is locked. Jill asks Carlos what he knows about the monster and we get this.
I've never seen anything like it, but it's no zombie. It knows what it wants and won't stop till it gets it. Don't you like that in a man?
Bro is wasting zero time. He's one of those. Then Carlos is like, don't worry. Me and my boys are with Umbrella Biohazard Counter Services. We're gonna gather survivors and get them out of here. And this sets Jill off. Because Umbrella, and she starts blaming him for causing the outbreak, but Carlos is confused because bro is just a soldier. They don't tell him their evil world-conquering plans. He's trying to pay the bills. Rent is high. Rent is due. We go further into the station, into a train that's holding survivors and more Umbrella mercenaries. Dude, this game had negative budget. I've beaten this game about 5 times, and I barely ever remember that there are survivors down here. It is so empty. We talk to the big boss of the Umbrella soldiers, and Carlos is like, sir, I found a capable survivor who just happens to be a 10 out of 10 GAT. And the leader guy is like, this is no ordinary baddie. That's Jill Valentine, the master of unlocking. The whole room goes silent at this revelation. No, they don't. I'm just being dramatic. Not like there's anybody there to be silent because of the budget. Jill doesn't trust them because Umbrella, and they don't care. They just want to get out the city and save people on the way. And since Jill is the main character, guess who has to do all the work? The first thing on the list is activating the subway's power at the substation so we can get these trains moving. The city is now filled with zombies. Can I say though that the timeline for this outbreak is ludicrous? The outbreak just started. How is everybody already a zombie? There should be people running around the streets with us, but there's explosions and buildings on fire. With the way it's looking outside, you would think we were on day 5. Jill was in her apartment chilling out, bro, doing PTSD stuff. So I imagine the rest of the day was fine, zombie free. So that means it took what, a few hours, maybe 2 for this to happen? That doesn't make any sense. Then look at this. This whole junction is covered in this zombie wasp nest thing. Either they are fast workers or nobody noticed this. I skipped over a lot just now. Even the intro to the game's main villain, I think he's the main villain, I think. His name is Nikolai. He's with Umbrella and he's very evil. I don't even know if he's with Umbrella. That was a lie, bro. I don't get him. I'll give you the rundown later, bro. There's not that much going on. I fight through the bugs and turn on all the lights in the substation, then go back to the office and set their hive on fire. But if you go back in there, the bugs are still kicking and thriving. Jill tells Team Umbrella the good news. But before we can head back, we have to go back to one more building and set a path for the train to leave the city. But then Nemesis comes back, and I'm gonna run because it's serious now. This is the best part of the game, and that's very bad because it's downhill from here, like real bad. So Nemesis has been set loose on you through the city, and you have to fix the train up and collect as many collectibles and supplies as you want. Jill has a lockpick and a chain cutter at this point. The chain cutter will get you a shotgun, and the lockpick will open up anything that's locked, because it's a lockpick. The problem is, Nemesis will be there the whole time, and he's a crash out. If you're close to him, he'll punch you. If you're far away, he'll scorpion you. And that's if he doesn't full sprint at you into a punch. There's so much tension, it's scary, and Nemesis isn't alone. There's zombies to get on your nerves too. And if you don't keep moving, Nemesis will close that gap. But it is a downright shame, because this is the only part of the game that's like this. In the original, from what I hear, Nemesis will pop up and chase you around all over the game. But that was the goal, like the gimmick of the game, have this big monster chase you around. It was the secret ingredient of RE3. He was this monster that you have to worry about constantly, but in this remake, he only gets 2 short segments of hunting you down. Then the rest is scripted until you get to a part of the game where he can't chase you around anymore because... So I get to the building with the train and it wants you to like enter your destination.
We do not care.
So the train is good to go. But in the hall, this one zombie wants to start mutating, but I don't have time. I'm ready to go. I quickly get back to the station because this is too much. There's also this store where Nemesis can't come in and he just stands there waiting for you to come out, breathing ever so slightly into the glass. So now I get back to the station. Yes, this small gate is enough to keep the hordes of super zombies from swarming us.
Nice job, Super Cop. I'm impressed.
We back in business?
Yeah, mostly. But we need 30 to 40 minutes to finish maintenance. Nikolai, how are we doing?
The town's crawling with those freaks. No chance of fighting our way out of the city. Why is she here?
She's helping get the trains running again.
Bad time to start getting dead weight for her. She's unreliable. Can't pull the trigger when it counts.
Just so you know, he's saying that Jill can't pull the trigger when it counts in regards to one of their squad mates that Nikolai had to shoot for Jill because he was infected and Jill wanted to help him. However, we didn't know if he was infected or not. Nikolai walked in the room and shot him. Didn't check his wound at all. Didn't talk to him. Why would Nikolai do this? Well, he is very, very evil. So the plot armor for the metal gate upstairs wore off and Nemesis has broken through it. Jill hits the next shutter and goes under it with Carlos, but at the last second she's like, it's me he's after, and rolls under it. Carlos is like... This part is kinda tricky, just a little bit. Nemesis is chasing you up these steps, and it's very easy to get caught lagging. The goal is to get to this grate and kick it open so Jill can escape. Terrible kicks, by the way. You have to hit it 3 times before you can open it, and if you don't make sure to stun Nemesis with this trap, you won't have enough time. You won't. It is so goofy, bro. Like, the amount of people I've seen get confused here is crazy. I was one of them, and after going through, we land in the sewer. I hate every sewer section in any Resident Evil game ever. Thank God it's short. The only enemies down here are these things. They can one-shot you. I absolutely hate them. But when you find this grenade launcher, they're not really a problem.
Jill! Oh, thank God. Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm alive. I lost him.
Great. The subway's ready to go. We'll leave as soon as you make it back.
How are we supposed to get back to the subway without leading Nemesis right back there and making this entire detour unnecessary? Would it not be smarter to leave Jill and save the survivors? Bro has been on her like glue all night. What's changed? He's here right now.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Bro has her by the head and throws her. Why didn't he squeeze? Gotta flex this new flamethrower. We're somehow in the scaffolding of an unfinished building and Nemesis is spraying fire everywhere. No regard for the structural integrity or our lives. Jill is nowhere around him and he keeps going. I hate that we're going higher and higher because how do we get down? But what else do? We make it to the top of the building and you know Nemesis has to make his entrance. This is the first boss fight with Nemesis and bro is not the problem he thinks he is. He's not even taking the fight serious. Bro is blind firing into the sky. Eventually, the tank gets fed up and bursts, but the fight is still going because Nemesis gets up and uses the flamethrower as a blunt instrument. In this stage, he's faster, dare I say, locked in. But if he doesn't catch you, eventually he will succumb to the damage and the fire, leading to this. So Jill calls Carlos and tells him of our victory, but we have to get back to the subway again. On the way there, you can see a lot of areas from Resident Evil 2. You can even talk to Kendo, the gun guy. Jill and him know each other and she says, hey, I have a train going out of the city, we gotta go right now. But he can't go because his daughter is infected and he's not taking it well. I don't think he ever makes it out of the city. Kendo leaves Jill the key to the gate that'll lead to the subway though, so I take that and guess who comes back? Notice how he throws the flamethrower to alert Jill, right? Then he drops the case in a smooth manner. Attention, fiend. But that's a rocket launcher that is so easy to dodge. They aren't even blowing up right. It's more like a big bullet than an explosion. But then there's nowhere to run and Nemesis catches Jill point. And she's fine. If anything, the rocket launched her to safety. Bro won't go down long enough for her to make it to the subway and there's simply nowhere else to run. Carlos calls in with a idea and tells Jill to lead him to the station. And at this point, Nemesis is doing anything. Look. Was that the idea? Another explosion. He eats those regularly. We're cooked. They think it's over. They're celebrating.
Carlos, Tyrell, you have your orders. You need to go back out into the city and find Nathaniel Bard.
This isn't the last fight out of town, right?
Do not worry. Once the civilians are safe, the train will be back.
It's alright, you go on ahead. I'm not gonna die on you, leave you in a cold, cruel, Carlosless world.
Okay.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
A little while later, Nikolai and the leader guy are talking about this science ace named Bard. Very useless character, very useless. Don't worry about him. The leader then shifts the conversation to suspicion about Nikolai and his platoon being ambushed by zombies. But the zombies shouldn't. Nikolai did it. He spawn wiped his platoon. Bro, I don't even know why I'm dancing around it. I don't care. I don't. Let's talk about Nemesis somehow being on the train. My question is, how did he get there? Make it make sense. If he was following the train, why didn't any of the survivors say anything about the spawn of Satan chasing the train? Did you even remember that there were survivors? Then Jill tries to run to Nemesis like she's gonna beat him in hand-to-hand combat, but the captain grabs her and says, no. So Jill runs to the door, but you might notice that Nikolai is not here. Bro ran to the door first the second trouble set in, and he locks Jill out because he is very evil. Nemesis grabs the captain guy, pulls him in, and the captain is like, get off my train. screen and blows up the car. So next we get to play as Carlos. I'm good. I like Carlos. He just says dumb stuff sometimes.
Okay. Guess we'll be doing this the explodey way.
This is the first of his 2 sections, and I'm not gonna lie, it just does not hit. The first section, we're in the RPD, one of the best areas in Resident Evil history, and it's missing some sauce. This is where the game officially loses me. See, Carlos and this guy, he dies later, so it doesn't matter. They need to get into the STARS office at the RPD and do something for some reason, and I just don't care. I would just much rather be playing as Jill and fighting Nemesis. Like, that's the real allure to this game to me. This feels like filler. Yeah, we're in the RPD, we have that going, but it's just not as cool as it was before. And Carlos has an automatic rifle, which is really baller, but the way this game handles fighting zombies it ruins the magic of the rifle for me. You could dump an entire clip into a zombie's head and they might go down. And yes, that is Brad. Brad bites Marvin. Marvin is a guy. Marvin is the guy, but we don't see him again for some reason. Like, that would have been cool to have him in the game. The rest of the section has us shooting at zombies till we get to the STARS office, and then we hear the train crashed. We must save Jill. So Jill wakes up and she's fine. Not a scratch, a scrape, a bone broken, none of that. We get back to the surface where we can hear Nemesis screaming and Jill is worn out. Bro comes fumbling out of the subway station looking goofy and falls into the water. She calls Carlos and tells him about Nikolai, the train, Nemesis.
It's back!
Nemesis is back at it again with a hot new banger. He's a dog now. Roof. She hops the rail and so does he, leading us to the second boss fight. Point, shoot, and pray you can hit these dodges on time. Basically, Jill can roll and Carlos can parry. These do make the game a lot easier and less scary, but man, I am glad they are here. After lighting Nemesis up for a minute, he should start running around in a circle on the trucks and the buildings around the map.
Gotta find a way to stop it.
So Jill finally gets the upper hand and bombs him out of the air and keeps applying that pressure until he accepts his fate, and we're good. And Jill tries to leave, but Nemesis wakes up and trips her. I thought he was going for the slash, the finisher, but nah, he drags her again. Bro is addicted to the chase. So in response, Jill drops the gate on him. Jill tries to escape again, but he throws a dart at her, and that's not a scratch. No, no, no. Jill is infected with the T virus. She doesn't start turning right away, but that dose was so potent that she is out of here.
Jill! Hey, answer me. God damn it. Tyrell, do you copy?
What's going on?
Jill's been infected. I'm taking her to the hospital. Maybe Dr. Bard can save her.
All right, I'll meet you there.
So Jill is on that timer, and you know what that means. It's time to lock in. I'm skipping this whole section. Nah, bro. Like, I genuinely hate this section. Every game has that one part to it that you just don't want to do. This is mine. Let me just tell you where we're at right now. Jill is sick, so we need a cure, which we find. There was this doctor there and he made a cure. I think Nikolai packed him up. It don't matter, bro. It really doesn't. We take the cure back to Jill, give it to her. She's fine now. I mean, she is in Resident Evil 5, so she was never in any danger. Then they make me do the cabin fight again, bro. Nah, it's not the same, bro. It's not. So a couple of things. A message on the TV tells all survivors to evacuate the city because they're calling down the hammer. We found a cure, or at least a way to make one, and Carlos will now disappear until the end of the game. Before Jill wakes up, she has a dream about him becoming a zombie. I don't know why. They've talked on the radio like 3 times. That's not vivid nightmare material. But Jill wakes up and she asks this guy where Carlos is, and he's like, come on. So we go to this massive underground lab. This game is so lazy. Oh, I wonder where an upgrade for one of the strongest weapons in the game could be. But Nemesis reappears and takes the guy out, GG's. He chases Jill down a hall and she slams the door on him, leaving us in the final level, the secret umbrella lab. Now all we have to do is make a cure, find a chopper, and leave the city. I'm not forgetting anything at all, I'm not. To make this area difficult though, there are these things called paleheads walking around. Basically off-brand regenerators. You can shoot at them all you want, but they don't care about damage. The best way to deal with them is one shot to the head with the mag. It is actually really important that you grab this gun before leaving the hospital. But then again, not having it actually makes this area a lot more tense. As far as the cure goes, you might think it would be hard to make a cure for a city-wide outbreak. Nah, you just grab this thing and then that thing and then you hit a couple of buttons and voila. So Nemesis is back for the spectacular finale, and I get one last safe room to collect my thoughts. before I go out there and have the exact same fight. I walk out there and brother is genuinely tweaking. The Goofy jumps at Jill and doesn't account for his weight, destroying the platform. Then he falls and tries to grab it. That makes it worse, and now we're both cooked. And there's more. We're going further. Jill lands in such a way that 1, her arm should be dislocated, and 2, the cure falls out of her pocket and onto the deck. Not one gun, box of bullets, spare key, Sydney Sweeney's phone number, none of that fell out of my pocket, just the cure. And on cue, Nikolai comes over. Jill says the city needs that cure. The city is gone. Every block, every building, every street, every boulevard, every avenue is empty. And Nikolai wants Jill to fight Nemesis so he can record it and sell the Nemesis combat programming to evil zombie scientists, and maybe he'll give her the cure for it in exchange. What? Am I missing something with Nikolai? Why is he here? The only reason this man is a threat is because the plot never lets Jill fight him. But first, Nemesis, and yes, it is the same fight, but hey, you can zap him when he tries to hide. Look at him, the little troublemaker. Deliver the chemicals.
Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on!
No, he's still alive. Jill catches up to Nikolai and says, give me the cure. And he's like, no, put the gun down. And I'm sitting there waiting for her to shoot him. There is no reason for either one of them to not be shooting right now. Jill has the aim of a Red Dead protagonist. Just get him out the way, gang. But Nemesis pops up again. I got this, she says. You have no plan, and this is no time to be winging it. What is she talking about, right? Oh, there just so happens to be an orbital space engine beam right there, ripe for the taking. That's it, he's done. No more tomfoolery. There's more.
You're not going to stop. Promise you this.
Dude shooter, what do you do? I'm done. He'll shoot the cure, but not the one person that can stop him from getting in the helicopter and leaving. Brother, this game is a mess. Wrap it up. We leave bro there, fly off into the sunset, and Jill vows to take down Umbrella once and for all. I think Umbrella shuts down in between games. Like they're there and then they're just gone, you know? I could be wrong. And then we don't see Jill again until Resident Evil 5. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want another Resident Evil game, hit that like button before you head out. If you're new, go ahead and watch this Walking Dead playlist that's on the screen right now. If it's not there, go to my channel homepage, scroll all the way down to the playlist, and, you know, binge upon that. Season 3 is next. I gotta work on that. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.